Phil, I think it's happened again.
Al, what did you do?
I didn't do anything, I swear to God.
Your hair is gone. No. Oh.
Phil, I'm scared.
Stu, come on, get up. We got a situation. Oh, holy. Where are we? Oh my God, Alan. Your head.
No, your head.
Is it in you? Is there a demon in you? Well, that's at least one of the themes that's explored in The Hangover Part II, one of the movies that I'm going to review on this week's Film Fix. The follow-up to the 2009 monster hit The Hangover comes The Hangover Part II, a pretty fitting name for a movie that is the follow-up to the highest-grossing comedy, R-rated comedy of all time. This movie attempts to capture the magic. It's again directed by Todd Phillips, who brought us Old School. The entire original cast returns. You've got Bradley Cooper, who plays Phil. You've got Zach Galifianakis, if you can say the mouthful that is his name, returning as Alan, and he is just as affected as ever. You've got Stu, who, of course, they're traveling to Thailand so that he can get married. And incidentally, if you remember that Stu got married in the first movie, he married a stripper played by Heather Graham, who unfortunately doesn't make an appearance in this movie. We can only assume that that wedding was either invalid or ended in divorce. In addition, we have Jason Bertha, who played the one member of the Wolf Pack, as they are known, who got, I guess, kidnapped in the first movie. In this one, he has a similar role, but there's not a kidnapping involved, at least not of him. In addition, Mr. Chow comes back, and I think a lot of you will remember the character who is a drug dealer, played by Ken Jeong in the original movie. Well, he's even more unhinged in Thailand, and he takes the boys on quite an adventure. I guess the famous line in this is, okay, I'll just have one drink with the boys. Well, that one drink with the boys in Bangkok ends up a night that the boys can't remember. Does that sound familiar? Well, it's a theme that will work very well in the first movie, and I think it works well in this one. This is a funny movie. It also is for a particular demographic, and you already know who you are. It doesn't matter what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter that the critics are going to hate on this movie. The fact is there are some very big laughs to be had, and I anticipate that this movie is going to make a bundle of bucks. It'll probably make something north of $100 million in its opening weekend, which is just shocking, but of course certainly possible given today's box office and standards. I mean, just last week, Pirates of the Caribbean made $90 million domestically, got just lampooned by critics, even though I found it acceptable, and ended up already crossing the $400 million mark worldwide. So if you think about it, it's entirely possible that a movie like The Hangover, which is virtually critic-proof, could prove to make a bundle of cash and repeat the magic of the 2009 film. One of the themes of this movie that I think works incredibly well, The Hangover Part II, is what happens when you lose your inhibitions. Now, it's not explored quite as well in this movie as it was in the first movie, but it's a theme that could continue conceivably in a third movie. And I joked as I left the theater that this is a film that the third one, if they make it, would have to be in 3D in order to bring what would amount to a trilogy to a fitting end. And I also joked that if you think about, I guess, the two series, if you think about how Jackass went, 3D worked pretty well for Jackass as well. So one would anticipate that a third one is on the horizon. Just to give you a little bit of The Hangover Part II, I will say that fans of Mike Tyson, who had a very good cameo in the first film, will not be disappointed. The Hangover Part 2 gets a fixed rating from me, even though I know that it is not for everyone. Crude humor, some full frontal male nudity is something that I'll have to warn you about. But beyond that, I think you know who you are, and it really doesn't matter what I say. You're going to see The Hangover Part 2 anyway. Ending the month of May is another sequel. This is Kung Fu Panda 2. That, of course, trying to repeat the magic of 2008. I dearly loved Kung Fu Panda. Well, Jack Black is back, giving his voice talents to Po, who is the panda in this movie. He's on a search to find his real dad. And, of course, the Furious Five are reunited and continue. And let's take a look at the trailer.
Did you see that? I just was like, what? Yeah.
Oh, I have received a message
From the universe?
from a messenger.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Our greatest masters are disappearing. I fear this is the work of Lord Shen, who has unleashed a new kind of threat on our world. This could mean the end of Kung Fu.
But I just got Kung Fu.
And now you must save it. Take the 5. It is time for the next phase of your journey.
My fist hungers for justice. That was my fist.
We need to get to that tower without being spotted by those wolves.
Huh? Got it. Stealth mode.
I hate this sneaking around.
Hey. Hey. Huh?
I like it.
How can Kung Fu stop something that stops Kung Fu?
Here we go! Remember, Dragon Warrior, when you follow the noble path, anything is possible.
I'm freaking in.
Beware of the signs!
What signs? Ah! So many signs!
My old enemy. Stairs.
Next week, my co-host, Chef Marker, will rejoin me. And as always, you can join us on the web by going to dailyfilmfix.com, where you can feed your movie addiction.